When diplomacy fails and war is unwise, the president calls upon the highly covert Central Intelligence Agency to get the job done. Deep within the CIA lies a few black operations forces that are tasked to do some of the most dangerous and high-stakes missions imaginable. In fact, these units are so highly classified that very few images or media about them exist. With that said, what units make up CIA Special Operations? How much is known about them? And most importantly, what do they do under the veil of secrecy? What's up everyone, I'm Veteran Vinny, the voice behind General Discharge. Join us as we dive into some of the most secretive and mysterious black operations units in the entire world. This is CIA Special Operations. Specializing in raids, ambushes, sabotage, targeted killings, and unconventional warfare. We're not talking about Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. We're talking about the elite Tier 1 equivalent known as the Special Activities Center. When the United States takes measures towards national security, it has three options: diplomacy, military action, and then covert action. When they need the third option, they call the Special Activities Center, as covert action is their bread and butter. They take this stuff seriously, as their motto is quite literally Latin for third option. But what options do you have to stop the data brokers who are making a fortune selling your personal information? That's where Aura comes in, today's sponsor. It's a really important time to be talking about this because hackers may have stolen the social security numbers of every American. Yes, we're not kidding. Over 2.9 billion records were stolen from national public data, which include full names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, and social security numbers. And the worst part, members of the hacker group have reportedly released this information for free online. If you weren't taking precautions with your personal information online before, this should be a huge wake-up call. You've never been more vulnerable online than you are right now. But I'm not too worried about it because I use Aura. Aura alerts me if they find my phone number, email, or social security number on the dark web. They're going to let me know fast if anyone tries to use this information to access my credits or bank accounts. And they even give me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. They also provide a bunch of other features to keep me safe online, all inside one app. You can go to our link aura.com/generaldischarge to try 14 days for free. That will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. Don't let people exploit and profit off your private information. Again, that's aura.com/generaldischarge for your 14-day free trial. Links in the description or pinned comment below, or you can scan the QR code on screen. Now back to the video. Previously referred to as the Special Activities Division, the CIA Special Activities Center is a division of the Central Intelligence Agency responsible for covert operations and paramilitary operations. While it is not a military unit, the SAC is often considered on par with Tier 1 units in JSOC, meaning they are tasked with performing some of the most secretive Black Ops missions imaginable. There's two main components of the Special Activities Center: the Special Operations Group and the Political Action Group. We will be covering the Political Action Group in more detail in a later section, so for now we'll be focusing on SOC. Operators who are in the Special Operations Group are officially referred to by the CIA as Specialized Skills Officers. The Special Operations Group is often considered one of the most secretive special operations forces the United States has at its disposal, operating with fewer than 100 operatives who are mostly selected from military special operations best of the best, such as Delta Force, DevGru, Navy SEALs, and Green Berets. These highly proficient operators participate in missions throughout the world that the US does not want to be officially involved in. That's right, the missions SAC partakes in are so under the radar that in the event anyone or anything is compromised during a mission, the US government can deny all knowledge and disavow the operators. Similar to how a Special Operations Force operates, there are different components to the Special Activities Center that each specialize in an area of warfare or environment to provide them with abilities in the full spectrum of conflict. From what is known, there are 4 different branches of the Special Activities Center: the Ground Branch, Maritime Branch, Air Branch, and the Armor and Special Programs Branch. The Ground Branch oversees all covert operations handled on, you guessed it, the ground. Operators in this branch tend to consist of former members of Delta Force who possess the skills necessary to be effective in this environment. They're experts in surveillance, small arms, field and tradecraft, CQB, hostage rescue, and advanced driving. As for the Maritime Branch, those who work in this area area are responsible for specialized missions that involve the water. Whether it's VBSS, combatant diving, or utilizing specialized watercraft, members are experts in a variety of sophisticated maritime skills. Naturally, Navy SEALs, DevGru operators, and Force Reconnaissance Marines tend to make up a majority of this branch because of the environments they're expected to operate in. The Air Branch is responsible for the Special Activities Center's aviation activities. Incredibly skilled pilots and aviation experts work in this branch and provide top-tier transport and exfiltration measures for the operators. Think of it this way: just like JSOC has the Night Stalkers, the Special Activities Center has its Air Branch. And last but not least, the Armor and Special Programs Branch is unlike the other three branches. It's more supportive than it is operational. This part of the SAC develops, tests, and acquires new personnel, armory, equipment, and transport. Because of the clandestine nature of the missions SAC partakes in, gathering weapons and equipment covertly is of the utmost importance. The Armor and Special Programs Branch procures equipment abroad in order to have no connection to the US government in the unfortunate event that an SAC operator is compromised or captured. Operators in the Special Activities Center have helped achieve US foreign policy objectives across the globe. As one of the most versatile tools in the President's toolbox, the Special Activities Center is often considered the very tip of the spear. With the Special Activities Center covered, let's turn our attention to another important part of CIA Special Operations, the Global Response Staff. The CIA Global Response Staff operates in the shadows like no other. Aside from a few events, this entity has stayed out of the headlines in public for quite some time. While its specific tasking and scope of operations is classified, the GRS trains teams to work undercover and provides an unobtrusive layer of security for CIA officers and high-risk outposts. In a nutshell, you could say these guys are some pretty badass bodyguards for CIA personnel and VIPs. GRS operators are highly trained in a variety of skills, such as surveillance, counter-surveillance, close protection, and weapons handling. Since the Global Response Staff is a highly trained protective force, its primary responsibilities are to map escape routes from meeting places, pat down informants, and provide an envelope of security, all while accepting the fact that if push comes to shove, they're going to have to shoot. One such instance that was highly publicized was the 2012 Benghazi attacks, which resulted in the death of 4 US nationals, 2 of them being Global Response Staff personnel. Former Navy SEALs Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty paid the ultimate sacrifice defending the US Embassy and compounds that were attacked that night. Due to the dangerous and intense environments that the GRS operates in, its personnel generally consists of former Navy SEALs, Rangers, Green Berets, Recon Marines, and Air Force Special Warfare personnel. Roughly 125 operators are working abroad at any given time and rotate through cycles of training and off-time back stateside. GRS operators are either full-time CIA officers or contractors who do a few months abroad at a time. Due to the level of risk that CIA case officers carry on their counterterrorism assignments, the Global Response Staff has become a critical component of conventional espionage. In fact, they've become so important that the CIA had to overhaul its top secret and legendary training program known as the FARM to teach its spies the basics of working with GRS teams. Although the agency created the GRS to protect officers in war zones such as Iraq and Afghanistan, it has been expanded to protect secret drone bases as well as CIA facilities and officers in locations including Yemen, Lebanon, and Djibouti. Additionally, sometimes GRS teams provide security for personnel from other agencies, such as NSA teams that deploy sensors or eavesdropping equipment in conflict zones. This perfectly brings us to our next CIA Special Operations Unit, the Special Collection Service. If you ask the United States government, they'd say the Special Collections Service doesn't exist, and that they definitely don't have a heavily guarded 300-acre headquarters near Beltsville, Maryland. Nothing to see here. Codenamed F6, the Special Collections Service is a highly secretive black-budget joint program between the Central Intelligence Agency and National Security Agency. Operating in 2 to 5-man elements, the SCS is primarily responsible for placing super high-tech bugs and eavesdropping equipment in difficult-to-reach places, such as at foreign embassies and installations. In a nutshell, think of some highly skilled and talented personnel sneaking into a denied area to plant listening devices so they can collect information without the enemy ever knowing they were there in the first place. And sometimes they don't even need to sneak in. Some simply work undercover as foreign service officers or under the guise of business people. They've also been known to use a variety of specialized technical equipment and techniques to intercept communications, including satellite intercepts, microwave and cellular intercepts, and fiber optic taps. Additionally, Special Collections Service personnel are quite literally the MacGyvers of espionage. They can assemble elaborate listening devices from seemingly normal everyday components, such as an umbrella that expands into a parabolic antenna. And as far back as the 1980s, Special Collection personnel were able to use invisible lasers pointed at windows to decipher conversations by measuring only the vibrations of the glass. What they do is absolutely insane. With the Special Collections Service covered, let's move on to the CIA's Paramilitary Operations Officers. As we previously stated, the CIA Special Activities Center consists of its Special Operations Group and the Political Action Group. Paramilitary Operations Officers run the Political Action Group. As one of the least publicized elements of the Special Activities Center, the Political Action Group is responsible for covert activities related to political influence, psychological operations, economic warfare, and cyber warfare. Its missions are more focused on politics and influence, especially in situations where the US does not want to be directly associated with whatever the Political Action Group is doing. Thus, it can be said that many missions they partake in are considered as black ops. For example, PMOs can be assembled as pickup teams, which act as small-scale strike forces that conduct direct action raids under Title 50 authority for covert action. Not only that, but PMOs often work solo in pursuit of their missions. With plausible deniability by the US sourced from Title 50, PMOs lead and manage covert action programs directed by the President, and collect foreign intelligence vital to national security policy makers. They operate in remote locations behind enemy lines to carry out direct action, including raids and sabotage, counterintelligence, guerrilla and unconventional warfare, counterterrorism, and hostage rescue missions, in addition to being able to conduct espionage via human intelligence assets. As action and results-oriented professionals, they take on demanding responsibilities, accept significant personal risks, and maintain accountability for results. They are expected to be leaders and program managers, running paramilitary and intelligence operations in the field. Being in this line of work requires them to be a jack of all trades in a demanding, high-tempo environment. One year they could be living on the side of a mountain, and the next they're rubbing elbows with foreign diplomats over cocktails. Because of their versatility, PMOs are not only recruited from former SOF operators, but also from conventional forces and lateral movements within the Central Intelligence Agency. People with the right background, skill set, and mentality can find themselves in this prestigious and secretive line of work. While paramilitary operations officers in the Political Action Group are just a tiny sliver of the entire CIA, it's safe to say that their efforts make a giant impact for US intelligence and operations. With everything all said and done, let's be real here. You now know pretty much everything that the US government allows you to know about CIA Special Operations. The men and women who work in these fields work in secret and without recognition on a daily basis, all in the name of serving their country. While we will likely never know the full extent to what CIA Special Operations does and how it is utilized, we do know that they make a major impact, and they will continue to work quietly in the background as unsung heroes. If you're interested in learning more about the CIA and its covert special operations, you should go check out the book Surprise, Kill, Vanish: The Secret History of CIA Paramilitary Armies, Operators, and Assassins by Annie Jacobson. Scan the QR code on screen or go to the link in the description or pinned comment below to take you to it. And if you're wanting to learn about another highly covert unit, we've done a video on what many consider the most secretive US military unit out there, the Intelligence Support Activity. Scan the QR code on screen or go to the link in the description below to go watch it. Thank you for watching. Do you even want to be here?
All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge, and you don't even want to be here.